And he said, honey, he said, you make the best ham I've ever eaten in my life. And she said, well, thank you, honey. He said, let me ask you one question. Why do you cut the end of the ham off before you put it in the pot? She said, I have no idea why I do that, but I grew up watching my mom do that. And he said, when your mom comes over this afternoon, I'm going to ask her. That must be the secret. So her mom comes over and he says, ma'am, you make the best ham that I've ever had in my life. She said, well, thank you. He said, can I ask you one question? You can. Why do you cut the end of the ham off before you put it in the pot? She said, I don't have any idea, but I grew up watching my mom do that. And so I've always done that. He said, well, it's interesting. He said, that must be the secret as to why it's so good. He said, when your mom comes over this afternoon, I'm going to ask her why she cuts the end of the ham off. So this lady walks in and he says, Grandma, he's like, you make the best ham that I've ever had in my life. She said, thank you, son. He said, can I ask you one question? She said, sure. He said, why do you cut the end of the ham off before you put it in the pot? She said, I do that because my pot's too small. So you've got her and 2 generations after her are cutting the end off of the ham, and nobody knows why. They just watched her do it, right? And that's how we learn. She did it out of necessity because she didn't probably have the money to go buy a larger pot. But if somebody needed a larger pot, they'd just go down to Walmart and do it, right? So why do I, drop start my chainsaw? Why do I walk with the chain brake off? Those are bad habits, but I could have potentially learned those from somebody. And if you learn those from somebody, you're educated enough now to know that that's not safe. But let me take it a step further than that. What if you're out running a chainsaw without PPE on? What if you're doing those things and somebody else is watching you? Somebody's always watching you, right? Whether it's your children that are young or your grandchildren. Y'all saw my grandson. What if he saw me running a chainsaw without PPE? He would think that's the way. Especially if anybody tells him, yeah, your pappy trains people to run a chainsaw. He's going to automatically think I'm an expert, right? It's a huge responsibility. His daddy has the same responsibility, and we all do. Only 2 kinds of experiences, good ones and bad ones. Learn the good ones on your own and the bad ones from somebody else.